Okay, so what this video is for someone who may not have any interest in training jiu-jitsu themselves, but maybe sometimes you're at a bar and you're watching an MMA fight just because it's on, or maybe you're at a friend's house and they're watching UFC, and you have a general sense for when they're punching, what's kind of happening. They're trying to slip or block the punches and punch the other person. But maybe when it hits the ground, you're just totally clueless. And I think that's how a lot of people are. And although you can find videos of specific moves online of jiu-jitsu, the ground fighting, I wanted to give you a basic overview so that if you watch this video, next time you're watching an MMA fight and they go to the ground, you just have a general sense of what's actually happening. You see, because striking is somewhat intuitive. You know, if you make a 3-year-old upset and, they actually know in their brain just inherently to throw a punch. They know how to do that. The mechanics are there. For ground fighting, not so much. It's something that we have to learn. So I have my lovely assistant Laura here with me, and she's going to help me out with this. So I'm going to break this down into 4 categories. It is going to be dominant positions, submissions, the guard, and sweeps. So it's going to be really easy to understand. I'm going to just keep it really simple, just so you gain the skill of being able to just have a sense of what's going on and sound like you're smart when you watch these fights. Here we go. So I'm going to start with the main dominant positions that both people are trying to fight for. So first, we'll go to the mount. So this is mount. This is a great position. Then back mount as well. We're always fighting for this position. This is probably the most dominant position. And then side control on your back. Like this. This is side control. And then knee on belly. Right here. Okay? You okay?
Belly, yeah.
Not too much knee on belly. So essentially, from these dominant positions, this is where you can pull off submissions or fight-ending moves that makes the other person have to give up, or else they might have consequences of going to sleep, passing out, or breaking a limb. So from these dominant positions, I can pull off submissions the easiest, and I'm also safest from her submissions. She can't really submit me from these dominant positions. So a couple of submissions, just to give you a sense of what's happening, are the arm bar and the arm and head choke. But what you should be looking for as far as submissions go is anytime I'm reaching for the neck or isolating a limb. Whenever that's happening, a submission is probably taking place. I'll give you 2 examples. So if I'm in knee on belly, and let's say she reaches up a little too far, she isolates this arm for me a little bit, that's a mistake. And I'm going to take this arm and keep it isolated from her body, and I'm going to bend it in an unnatural way, where it would actually bend like this, but the wrong way. And she would have to tap out or else risk injury. So another submission that might happen is, let's say, again, she was a little imbalanced and just kind of isolated this arm a little bit. I don't want to upset your hair. I might reach around here and trap this arm and go to the side and start choking her. Okay? So those are two submissions that you could do, that you might see. But basically, anytime you see someone isolating a limb or reaching for the neck, that's probably what's going on. So those are the dominant positions that both of us are going to be fighting for. But what happens when she has a dominant position on me? And I'm trying to keep her from getting to any of those positions. So if you can sit up. The guard is where that comes into play. So I need to keep her from getting to those dominant positions, and I'm going to use my legs. So a possibility is, you can stand up. So let's say this starts standing. I'm essentially using my legs and arms to keep everything connected for myself. So I might be here and just trying to maintain a close distance to make sure that she can't separate me out like this and get to a side control or mount. So she might even try to step over. And again, I'm going to try to maintain this tight distance right here with my knees and elbows. If you go to your knees. So another guard, and again, a guard is just it's a vast position that involves like all of these different positions I'm showing you, where I'm using my legs and arms to keep her from getting to a dominant position. So this is full guard. This is, I can use my legs to keep her in this position. And in fact, you can get submissions, what we just talked about, from some of the defensive positions. So right here, I can actually isolate her arm and pull off that arm bar that I showed you before. But it's more difficult. And then besides that, half guard, this is another type of guard where she's halfway in the party. But again, I'm using my legs and keeping her from getting to a dominant position, using my legs and using my arms. I'll show you spider guard too, and then we'll move to sweeps. So if you stand up, so this is again, using my legs and arms to keep her from getting to a dominant position. So what happens when I'm on bottom and I want to be on top? Because we're always fighting for dominant positions. I'll show you guys let's do the butterfly sweep. Go to your knees. So if I'm in a bottom position, a sweep is something where I can use, once again, my legs and my arms to go from being on this defensive position where she's trying to get mount to getting on top. So you'll see this a lot in MMA and Jiu Jitsu where, for example, right here, I'm going to use this leg, this foot right here, to lift up this leg, and I'm going to trap this arm so that she can't reach out, and I'm going to use this to sweep and go to a dominant position myself. So essentially those are the main categories, is that both fighters are trying to find a dominant position in order to get a submission, and to defend against that, you're going to use your guard, which is your legs and your arms, to keep the person from getting to a dominant position. And when you're in a defensive position, you're using the sweeps and submissions to get on top and submit the other person. So thank you, Laura, and that's pretty much it. Hope it helps. Thank you.
Perfect.